Most people fear weakness. They hide it, run from it, bury it under pride. But what if I told you your greatest power lies not in what you display, but in what you overcome? True warriors do not fear their flaws. They study them, shape them, use them to win battles no one saw coming. Your struggle is not your shame. It is your strategy. And in the hands of the disciplined, weakness becomes a weapon. Subscribe to our channel if you're ready to master your mind, and tell us, where are you watching from? Listen carefully, for what I am about to tell you has been paid for in blood across 1,000 battlefields. The greatest war you will ever fight is not against armies that march beneath foreign banners. It is not against empires that stretch across distant horizons. No, the greatest war you will ever wage is against the enemy that rises each morning in your mirror. I have commanded armies, studied the art of warfare for decades, and written strategies that generals still study to this day. But understand this, no amount of external victory will save you from internal defeat. The battle begins in your mind, in those quiet moments when you face yourself with complete honesty. Most warriors fall not by the sword of their enemies, but by the deception of their own thoughts. They march proudly into battle, shields gleaming, while their inner fortress crumbles. They focus on the horizon while ignoring the rot beneath their feet. This is why they fail. This is why you have failed. But today, we change that. You must learn to see weakness not as your shame, but as your map. Every fear that makes you hesitate, every doubt that makes you pause, every insecurity that makes you shrink, these are not your enemies, they are your scouts. They have infiltrated your defenses and brought back intelligence about where you must fortify your walls. Think of the greatest generals in history. Did they triumph by ignoring their vulnerabilities? No. They won because they studied their weak points with ruthless precision. They transformed their understanding of weakness into an unbreakable defense. This is the wisdom of warfare that most will never grasp. Your anxiety about speaking in public, that's not your curse, it's your compass pointing to where you must train. Your fear of failure, it's not your prison, it's your practice ground. Your tendency to overthink, it's not your paralysis, it's your potential for strategic depth. But here is where most people make a fatal mistake. They try to eliminate their weaknesses through brute force. They declare war on themselves, trying to crush their insecurities through sheer willpower. This is like trying to win a war by burning your own lands. Foolish, wasteful, destined for defeat. The true warrior knows the transformation begins with acceptance. Not the weak acceptance of surrender, but the powerful acceptance of a general who must know the exact condition of his troops before planning the campaign. You cannot command what you refuse to confront. Look at your weakness directly. Hold it in your mind like a general holds a war map. Study its patterns. Understand its triggers. See how it moves, how it thinks, how it fights. This is not self-pity. This is tactical intelligence gathering. The more intimately you know your internal enemy, the more precisely you can plan its defeat. But remember this, the goal is not to destroy your weaknesses. The goal is to understand them so deeply that they become your secret weapons. Your fear of rejection can become your drive for excellence. Your self-doubt can become your capacity for strategic thinking. Your sensitivity can become your ability to read situations and people with uncanny accuracy. This is the first principle of internal warfare. What you resist will persist, but what you embrace can be transformed. Your weakness is not your destiny. It is your data. It tells you exactly where you must focus your training, exactly what skills you must develop, exactly what territories of your mind you must reclaim. From this moment forward, you will stop running from your weaknesses. You will stop hiding them. You will stop pretending they don't exist. Instead, you will study them with the cold, calculating eyes of a strategist. You will map them with the precision of a cartographer. You will understand them with the depth of a scholar, because the war begins within, and only those who have the courage to face their internal enemies will ever develop the strength to conquer their external ones. This is the first battle. This is where champions are forged. This is where warriors rise. Now, look in that mirror again. What do you see? Not just your reflection, but your first battlefield. Are you ready to begin the real fight? There is a practice in ancient warfare that modern minds have forgotten. Before any battle, before any strategy could be formed, a general would send scouts to name the enemy, not just to count their numbers or map their positions, but to name them, to know them, to understand their nature with such clarity that their very essence could be captured in a single word. Why? Because what you cannot name, you cannot conquer. This brings us to you, warrior, to the battle you've been fighting, without truly understanding your opponent. You call it weakness, yes, but that is too vague, too general. It's like trying to fight an army hidden in fog. You must be more precise. Let me teach you how to name your enemy. First, understand this. What you call weakness is really unused energy. It is power in its raw, unrefined form, like ore in the ground that has not yet been forged into a sword. Your fear? That's survival energy misdirected. Your anger? That's warrior spirit unfocused. Your laziness? That's efficiency untrained. Your insecurity? That's awareness unmastered. But the mind is clever in its deception. It hides these truths from you. It wraps your potential in layers of shame, doubt, and self-judgment. This is why naming is so crucial. It cuts through these layers with the precision of a blade. Here is how you begin. Take out your war scroll. Yes, warrior, I mean write this down. Now list every quality you consider a weakness. Be specific. Be ruthless. Be honest. Don't write I'm weak. Write I freeze when confronted. Don't write I'm lazy. Write I abandon tasks when they become difficult. This precision serves two purposes. First, it transforms vague fears into clear targets. Second, it reveals patterns you couldn't see before. Just as a general studying a map suddenly sees the enemy's strategy revealed in their movements. But naming goes deeper than this. For each weakness you identify, you must also name its hidden power. This is crucial. Your tendency to overthink? Name it strategic depth. Your sensitivity to criticism? Name it environmental awareness. Your difficulty with confrontation? Name it diplomatic potential. This is not mere wordplay, warrior. This is tactical reframing. Every great strategist knows that how you name your reality shapes how you engage with it. Call yourself a coward and you will flee. Call yourself cautious and you will plan. The name becomes the nature. Now, let me share a secret that few warriors ever grasp. The process of naming must be done in solitude, not because of shame, but because of clarity. Just as a scout must move silently through enemy territory, you must move quietly through your own mind. No distractions, no external opinions, no social masks. Find a quiet place, sit with your thoughts. Let them surface without judgment. Watch them like a general watching enemy movements from a hilltop. Notice their patterns, their triggers, their formations. Write them down with military precision. But here is where most people make a critical error. They stop at naming the weakness. This is like knowing your enemy's position, but not their capabilities. You must go deeper. For each weakness you name, ask yourself, when does this appear? What triggers it? What is its full strength? What is its hidden purpose? What is it trying to protect? What could it become if properly directed? This is not comfortable work. It requires the courage of a warrior and the patience of a strategist. You will uncover things about yourself that you've been avoiding, patterns you've been denying, potential you've been afraid to claim. Remember, the goal is not to judge. The goal is to know. Just as a general must know every detail of the battlefield, you must know every aspect of your internal landscape, the valleys of your fears, the mountains of your resistance, the rivers of your emotion. Name them all. And here is the final wisdom of naming. Once you have named something accurately, you gain power over it. This is ancient knowledge, warrior, the power of true names. When you can name your fear with precision, it begins to lose its grip. When you can name your resistance accurately, it begins to dissolve. So take up your war scroll. Begin the naming. Be precise, be thorough, be honest. For in this act of naming, you are not just identifying enemies, you are discovering weapons. Every weakness you name becomes a tool in your arsenal. Every flaw you identify becomes a potential strategy. The unnamed controls you. The named serves you. This is the power of naming. This is where your transformation begins. Let me tell you a story from the battlefields of ancient China. There was once a general who was known for an unusual practice. Before every battle, he would gather his officers and speak openly of his army's weaknesses. Other generals called him a fool. They said he was demoralizing his troops, revealing secrets to spies, inviting defeat. But this general won battle after battle. Why? Because he understood a truth that has been lost to time. Awareness of weakness is not weakness. It is tactical superiority. Think about this carefully. In any battle, there are two types of warriors: those who know their weaknesses and those who deny them. Which one holds the real power? The one who moves with complete understanding, or the one who marches forward blind to their own vulnerabilities? Most people you see in your workplace, in your city, in your daily life, are pretending to be strong. They flex artificial muscles. They wear masks of invincibility. They speak with false certainty. And beneath this theater of strength, they are being destroyed by the very weaknesses they refuse to acknowledge. This is not the way of the superior warrior. True power begins with radical self-honesty, when you can look at yourself and say, here is where I falter. Here's where I break. Here's where my defense crumbles. This is not weakness. This is the beginning of unshakable strength. Let me be clear. I am not telling you to embrace mediocrity. I am not suggesting you accept defeat. I am teaching you the art of strategic self-awareness. This is a weapon so powerful that most warriors cannot even grasp it, let alone wield it. Think of it this way. In any battle, who has the advantage? The general who believes his defenses are perfect, or the general who knows exactly where his walls are crumbling? The warrior who thinks he has no blind spots, or the warrior who has mapped every gap in his vision? The answer is clear to those who understand true warfare. When you know your weaknesses, truly know them, not just superficially acknowledge them, you gain three immediate tactical advantages. First, you can no longer be ambushed by them. Your enemies cannot exploit what you have already identified and prepared for. Your weaknesses become like marked territories on your battle map, zones you know to defend, areas you know to reinforce. Second, you can begin to transform them. Just as a general can turn a vulnerable position into a fortified stronghold, you can convert your known weaknesses into future strengths. But this is impossible if you're busy denying these weaknesses exist. Third, and most crucially, you develop the most powerful trait a warrior can possess: accurate self-assessment. This is worth more than any weapon, any armor, any external advantage. Because with accurate self-assessment, every experience, victory or defeat, becomes intelligence that makes you stronger. But here's where you must be careful. Many warriors make the mistake of turning self-awareness into self-obsession. They become like generals who spend so much time studying their own forces that they forget to study the battlefield. This is not what I am teaching you. The goal is not to dwell on your weaknesses. The goal is to know them with such clarity that they become part of your strategic understanding. Just as a general must know both the strength and the limitations of each unit under his command, you must know both your powers and your vulnerabilities. This knowledge should be cold, clear, and tactical. No emotion, no judgment, no self-pity, just pure strategic awareness. When you master this level of self-knowledge, something remarkable happens. Your relationship with weakness itself transforms. Instead of seeing it as something to hide from, deny, or overcome through brute force, you begin to see it as valuable intelligence. Every weakness becomes a data point. Every vulnerability becomes a signal, showing you where to focus your next phase of training. This is how the superior warrior thinks. This is how the master strategist plans. This is how the undefeated general commands. Your weakness is not your enemy. Your ignorance of it is. Your vulnerability is not your downfall. Your denial of it is. Your limitations are not your prison. Your refusal to acknowledge them is. So stand before the mirror of your mind. Look at yourself with the clear eyes of a strategist. Map your territories of strength and weakness with equal precision. Know yourself completely, without flinching, without hiding, without pretense. This is not weakness. This is not defeat. This is the foundation of invincibility, because once you can face yourself with complete honesty, no external force can shake you. No enemy can surprise you. No challenge can break you. You become like that ancient general, turning your self-knowledge into victory after victory. This is the power of knowing you are weak. This is the beginning of becoming truly strong. In the ancient texts of warfare, there is a concept that modern warriors have forgotten. It is called turning ground, terrain that can shift from disadvantage to advantage in the hands of a skilled strategist. Today we will discuss the most powerful turning ground of all, shame. Yes, shame. That burning sensation that makes you want to retreat. That heavy weight that makes you want to hide. That voice that whispers you're not enough, not worthy, not capable. Society has taught you to run from this feeling, to bury it, to see it as proof of your unworthiness. They are wrong. Shame is not your enemy. It is your scout. It is not your weakness. It is your warning system. It is not your destroyer. It is your data. And in the hands of a skilled warrior, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes strategy. Let me show you how to perform this ancient alchemical transformation. First, you must understand what shame really is. Strip away the emotion, and what do you find? Information. Pure tactical intelligence about the gap between where you are and where you could be. Between what you've done and what you're capable of. Between who you are and who you might become. Most people never realize this. They feel shame and immediately retreat. They feel that burning sensation and instantly shut down. They let shame become their prison instead of their propulsion. This ends today. From this moment forward, you will treat shame differently. When it appears, you will not flinch. You will not run. You will not hide. Instead, you will analyze it with the cold precision of a strategist. You will ask, what is this shame telling me? What standard am I not meeting? What potential am I not reaching? Consider the warrior who feels shame about speaking in public. The common response is to avoid speaking, to shrink, to let that shame define their limits. But the superior warrior thinks differently. They see that shame as a signal, a clear indication of an area requiring tactical development. The shame becomes their blueprint. Every time they feel that burn, they think, here, this is where I must train, this is where I must develop, this is where I must grow stronger. The very thing that makes them want to retreat becomes their advance signal. But here is where you must be careful. Many warriors make the mistake of trying to use shame as fuel for anger. They try to turn their embarrassment into rage, their inadequacy into aggression. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of strategic warfare. Shame is not meant to be fuel for fury. It is meant to be intelligence for action. Cold, clear, tactical action. Think of it this way. When a general receives intelligence about a weak point in their defenses, do they respond with rage? No. They respond with strategy. They analyze, they plan, they strengthen, they convert that intelligence into action. This is how you must handle shame. When shame appears, treat it as incoming intelligence. Take out your war scroll and write it down. Be specific, be tactical. Don't write, I feel ashamed of my body. Write, my current physical condition does not match my potential for strength and capability. Don't write, I'm ashamed of my failure. Write, this outcome reveals areas requiring strategic development. This linguistic precision is not mere wordplay. It is tactical reframing. It converts emotional weight into strategic intelligence. It transforms paralysis into planning. But the transformation of shame goes even deeper than this. Once you learn to see shame as strategy, something remarkable happens. It loses its power to paralyze you. Because you no longer see it as a judgment of your worth, you see it as intelligence about your next mission. This is how you turn shame into strategy. First, welcome it. When shame appears, don't fight it. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to deny it. Welcome it like a general welcomes a scout returning with crucial intelligence. Second, analyze it. Break it down into its tactical components. What specific situation triggered it? What exact standard were you not meeting? What precise capability requires development? Third, convert it. Turn each piece of shame-based intelligence into a specific action plan, not vague goals like be better, but precise tactical objectives. Develop this skill, practice this capability, strengthen this weakness. Fourth, execute. This is where most warriors fail. They get lost in the emotion instead of moving into action. Don't fall into this trap. Take your tactical intelligence and convert it immediately into movement. Remember, shame exists in stagnation. It dissolves in action. The moment you begin moving with strategic purpose, shame transforms from emotional weight into tactical momentum. This is how the superior warrior thinks. This is how the master strategist plans. This is how you convert what seems like weakness into undeniable strength. Your shame is not your sentence. It is your strategy. Your embarrassment is not your enemy. It is your intelligence. Your sense of inadequacy is not your identity. It is your advance scout, showing you exactly where you need to deploy your forces next. Use it. Convert it. Transform it. Turn your burning shame into burning clarity. Turn your heavy weight into heavy artillery. Turn your desire to retreat into your strategy to advance. This is the art of turning ground. This is how you convert shame into strategy. This is how you transform what makes you flinch into what makes you unstoppable. In the ancient schools of warfare, there was a practice that modern warriors have forgotten. When a soldier was wounded in battle, they were not merely treated and sent back to fight. No, their wounds were studied. Every cut, every scar, every point of impact was analyzed with careful precision. Why? Because pain carries intelligence that no training manual can provide. Listen carefully, for what I am about to teach you will transform how you view every struggle, every setback, every moment of suffering in your life. Pain is not punishment. Pain is preparation. Think about this. When you touch a hot surface, pain teaches you where not to place your hand. When you train your body, pain shows you where your limits currently lie. When you face rejection, pain reveals what you need to strengthen. This is not random suffering. This is tactical intelligence gathering, but most people waste their pain. They either try to numb it, run from it, or use it as an excuse to surrender. They are like warriors who get wounded and learn nothing from the experience. They heal, but they don't grow. They recover, but they don't evolve. The superior warrior thinks differently. When pain arrives, they don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What is this teaching me?" They don't say, "This is unfair." They say, "This is intelligence." They don't think, "I must escape this." They think, "I must extract wisdom from this." Let me show you how to transform pain from your enemy into your instructor. First, you must understand that all pain carries a message. Physical pain tells you where your body needs attention. Mental pain reveals where your mind needs development. Emotional pain shows you where your spirit needs strengthening. These are not punishments. They are precision instruments of feedback. Consider the warrior who faces rejection. Common thinking says this pain should be avoided, minimized, forgotten as quickly as possible. But the superior warrior thinks differently. They analyze the pain like a general studying the aftermath of a battle. Where exactly did the rejection strike? What specific weakness did it expose? What capability needs to be developed? What armor needs to be strengthened? What weapon needs to be sharpened? This is not masochism. This is not the worship of suffering. This is tactical intelligence gathering of the highest order. But here is where most warriors make a crucial mistake. They try to use pain as fuel for anger. They try to convert their suffering into rage, their wounds into weapons of vengeance. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of strategic warfare. Pain is not meant to make you angry. Pain is meant to make you aware, not just aware of what hurts, aware of what needs to be strengthened. Think of it this way. When a general's defenses are breached, does he respond with blind rage? No. He responds with strategic analysis. Where exactly did the breach occur? What specific weakness was exploited? What precise improvements must be made? This is how you must handle pain. When suffering arrives, treat it as incoming intelligence. Take out your war scroll and document it with military precision. Don't write, "I'm hurting." Write, "This specific area requires tactical development." Don't write, "This is unbearable." Write, "This reveals a point of necessary reinforcement." This precision serves two purposes. First, it converts emotional chaos into strategic clarity. Second, it transforms paralytic pain into actionable intelligence. Here is how you weaponize your pain. First, locate it precisely. Don't just acknowledge that you're hurting, identify exactly where the pain is striking. What specific situation triggered it? What exact weakness did it expose? What precise capability requires development? Second, analyze its pattern. Pain that repeats is trying to teach you something. Look for the rhythm, the trigger, the cycle. This is not random. This is tactical intelligence about your vulnerabilities. Third, extract its wisdom. Every point of pain contains a lesson about what needs to be strengthened. Don't just endure it, study it. What is it telling you about your current capabilities? What is it revealing about your necessary development? Fourth, convert it into action. Pain without purpose is just suffering. Pain converted into strategic action becomes power. Take the intelligence your pain has provided and transform it into precise tactical objectives. Remember, pain persists in passivity. It transforms through action. The moment you begin moving with strategic purpose, pain converts from dead weight into dynamic energy. This is why the ancient warriors studied their wounds. This is why the master strategists analyzed their defeats. This is why the superior commanders extracted wisdom from every loss. They understood that pain, properly processed, becomes power. Your suffering is not your sentence. It is your school. Your wounds are not your weakness. They are your wisdom. Your pain is not your punishment. It is your preparation for greater battles to come. Use it. Study it. Convert it. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Turn your scars into strategy. Turn your pain into power. This is the art of tactical transformation. This is how you weaponize your pain. This is how you convert what breaks you into what makes you unbreakable. Remember, the warrior who learns from pain need only be taught once. The warrior who runs from pain must learn the same lesson 1,000 times. Which warrior will you be? There is a moment before every battle that all warriors know. Your heart pounds, your breath shortens, your mind races with 1,000 possible outcomes. This is fear, and in this moment, you have a choice that will determine everything that follows. You can freeze or you can forge ahead. Most people misunderstand fear. They see it as weakness, as something to be eliminated, as proof they are not ready for the battle ahead. They have been taught that brave warriors feel no fear, that great leaders know no doubt, that superior fighters experience no hesitation. This is a child's understanding of warfare. Let me tell you what fear really is. Fear is your body's intelligence-gathering system. Fear is your mind's threat detection radar. Fear is your spirit's energy reserve, waiting to be converted into action. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your fuel, but you must learn how to use it. Think about this. When fear appears, what exactly is happening in your body? Your senses sharpen, your awareness expands, your energy increases, your focus intensifies. These are not the symptoms of weakness. These are the preparations for warfare. The superior warrior understands this. When fear arrives, they don't try to eliminate it. They don't attempt to suppress it. They don't waste energy pretending it doesn't exist. Instead, they convert it, they transform it, they turn it into tactical advantage. Let me show you how. First, you must understand that fear serves three crucial tactical functions. It heightens your awareness. When you're afraid, you notice everything. Every movement, every sound, every subtle shift in your environment becomes crystal clear. This is not weakness. This is enhanced intelligence gathering. It prepares your body for action. The increased heart rate, the deeper breathing, the surge of energy. These are not signs of cowardice. These are your body's automatic combat preparations. Fear is literally preparing you for battle. It sharpens your focus. When fear strikes, unimportant details fade away. Your mind automatically prioritizes what matters for survival and success. This is not panic. This is tactical clarity. But here is where most warriors fail. They fight their fear. They try to suppress these reactions to calm themselves down, to return to a state of artificial peace. This is like having a weapon and choosing not to use it. The superior warrior thinks differently. They know that fear is not meant to be conquered. It is meant to be converted, not suppressed, but channeled, not eliminated, but employed. Think of it this way. When a general receives intelligence about an enemy's movement, does he ignore it? Does he try to pretend the threat doesn't exist? No, he uses that intelligence to sharpen his strategy, to focus his forces, to prepare his response. This is how you must handle fear. When fear appears, treat it as incoming intelligence. Don't try to silence it. Listen to what it's telling you. What specific threat has it detected? What particular challenge lies ahead? What exact preparation is required? Here is how you convert fear into fuel. First, acknowledge it precisely. Don't just say, "I'm afraid." Identify exactly what your fear is detecting. Is it fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of inadequacy? This precision is crucial for tactical response. Second, analyze its intelligence. Fear always carries information. What specific weakness is it highlighting? What particular preparation is lacking? What exact capability needs development? Extract every piece of tactical data your fear is providing. Third, convert its energy. Fear creates energy, massive amounts of it. The question is not how to eliminate this energy, but how to direct it. Channel it into preparation. Convert it into action. Transform it into forward movement. Fourth, use its focus. Fear automatically shows you what matters most. Use this clarity. Let it strip away distractions. Let it sharpen your priorities. Let it show you exactly where your attention needs to be directed. Remember, fear becomes paralysis only when you fight it. When you learn to flow with it, to channel it, to convert it, fear becomes fuel for unstoppable action. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have spoken of being afraid before every battle. This is why the master strategists acknowledge their fear as they form their plans. This is why the superior commanders use their fear to sharpen their tactical awareness. They understand what you must now learn. Fear is not the opposite of courage. Fear is the raw material from which courage is forged. Your fear is not your weakness. It is your warning system. Your anxiety is not your enemy. It is your intelligence gatherer. Your doubt is not your destroyer. It is your data collector. Use it, channel it, convert it, turn your fear into focus, turn your anxiety into action, turn your doubt into determination. This is the art of tactical transformation. This is how you turn fear into fuel. This is how you convert what could paralyze you into what propels you forward. Remember, the warrior who denies their fear wastes its energy. The warrior who channels their fear becomes unstoppable. Which warrior will you be? Now, feel that fear. in your chest. Feel that energy in your body. Feel that clarity in your mind. Don't fight it. Don't suppress it. Don't waste it. Use it. This is your fuel. This is your power. This is your path forward. The battle awaits. Will you freeze? Or will you forge ahead? In ancient warfare, there was a saying, "The general who lets his emotions command his army has already surrendered his sword." Today, we will discuss a truth that most modern warriors never grasp: the supreme power of emotional discipline. Looky around you. What do you see? Warriors drowning in their feelings, leaders swept away by their moods, fighters whose effectiveness rises and falls with their emotions like leaves in the wind. They mistake passion for power. They confuse intensity for impact. They believe that feeling strongly means fighting effectively. This is the path to defeat. The superior warrior understands a deeper truth. Emotion is like fire. It can power your engine or burn down your camp. It can fuel your advance or consume your resources. The difference lies not in the intensity of the emotion, but in the discipline of the warrior wielding it. Let me show you the way of emotional mastery that ancient warriors understood, the path that modern fighters have forgotten. First, understand this fundamental truth: your emotions are not your commands. They are your intelligence reports. They bring you information, not orders. When anger arrives, it is reporting a boundary crossed. When fear appears, it is reporting a threat detected. When excitement erupts, it is reporting an opportunity sighted. But here is where most warriors fail. They let these reports become their commanders. They let their anger direct their strikes. They let their fear dictate their movement. They let their excitement determine their timing. This is like letting your scouts command your army. The superior warrior thinks differently. They receive emotional intelligence with clarity, but act with strategy. They feel everything, but are governed by nothing. They use emotion as information, but discipline as direction. Think of it this way. When a general receives reports from the battlefield, does he immediately act on every piece of information? Does he change his strategy with every new emotion? No. He takes in all reports, analyzes their meaning, and acts according to his greater strategic vision. This is how you must handle your emotions. When anger arrives, don't let it command your actions. Analyze its intelligence. What boundary has been crossed? What principle has been violated? What action is actually required? Then respond not from the heat of emotion, but from the clarity of strategy. When fear appears, don't let it direct your movement. Extract its intelligence. What specific threat has been detected? What precise preparation is needed? What tactical adjustment is required? Then act not from the grip of fear, but from the guidance of strategy. When excitement erupts, don't let it control your timing. Study its intelligence. What opportunity has been sighted? What advantage has appeared? What position must be taken? Then move not from the surge of emotion, but from the sovereignty of strategy. This is the art of emotional discipline. First, receive without resistance. Don't fight your emotions. They bring valuable intelligence. Don't suppress them. You'll miss crucial information. Receive them clearly, completely, without judgment. Second, analyze without attachment. Extract the intelligence your emotion brings, but don't let it attach to your strategy. Feel the anger, but analyze the boundary violation. Feel the fear, but study the threat detection. Feel the excitement, but examine the opportunity. Third, respond without reaction. Let your actions flow not from the emotion itself, but from your strategic understanding of what the emotion has revealed. Don't strike because you're angry. Strike because strategy demands it. Don't retreat because you're afraid. Retreat because tactics require it. Fourth, maintain strategic sovereignty. Your emotions inform your understanding, but your strategy commands your actions. Let emotion sharpen your awareness, while discipline guides your movement. Remember, the warrior who lets emotions command their actions is like a general who lets his scouts make his strategic decisions. Both will be defeated by the superior warrior who maintains tactical discipline. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have been masters of emotional discipline. Not because they felt less, but because they commanded more. Not because they eliminated emotion, but because they employed it strategically. They understood what you must now learn. Emotion is not your commander, it is your intelligence gatherer. Feeling is not your general, it is your scout. Mood is not your strategy, it is your weather report. Your anger is not your command, it is your intelligence about boundaries. Your fear is not your order, it is your intelligence about threats. Your excitement is not your directive, it is your intelligence about opportunities. Use them, study them, learn from them. But do not let them command you. This is the art of emotional discipline. This is how you convert what could control you into what informs you. This is how you transform what could command you into what serves your greater strategy. Remember, the undisciplined warrior becomes the slave of their emotions. The disciplined warrior becomes the master of their actions. Which warrior will you be? Now, feel that emotion in your chest. Feel that energy in your body. Feel that impulse in your mind. Don't fight it. Don't suppress it. Don't let it command. You study it. Learn from it. Then let your discipline, not your emotion, direct your next move. This is the way of the superior warrior. This is the path of strategic mastery. This is how you turn emotional chaos into tactical advantage. In the ancient art of warfare, there was a special term for soldiers who became trapped in enemy territory, moving in circles, unable to break free. They called it the death loop, a pattern of movement that seems like progress, but leads only back to defeat. Today we face these same loops, not on physical battlefields, but in the territory of our minds. Thoughts that cycle endlessly, worries that repeat relentlessly, patterns that trap us in endless circles of inaction or defeat. These are your mental loops. And today, you will learn how to break them. First, understand this crucial truth. Mental loops are not random. They are not chaos. They are not meaningless torture. They are patterns. Tactical patterns that can be identified, analyzed, and broken with strategic precision. But most warriors never learn this. They try to break their mental loops through willpower alone. They attempt to force their way out through raw determination. They fight their thoughts like they're fighting an endless wave of enemies. This is exhausting. This is ineffective. This is the path to defeat. The superior warrior thinks differently. They understand that mental loops are not enemies to be destroyed. They are patterns to be decoded, not battles to be won, but puzzles to be solved. Not threats to be eliminated, but signals to be understood. Think of it this way. When an army is caught in enemy territory, does the general order his troops to fight their way out blindly? No. He first understands the pattern that trapped them. He maps the territory. He identifies the cycle. Only then does he plan the escape. This is how you must handle your mental loops. Let me show you the strategic approach to breaking these cycles. First, you must identify the loop with precision. Don't just say, "I'm overthinking." Map the exact pattern. What triggers the loop? What thoughts repeat? What emotions fuel the cycle? What actions or inactions complete the pattern? This is not mere self-analysis. This is tactical intelligence. Gathering. Take out your war scroll and document the pattern with military precision. What exact thought initiates the loop? What specific fears keep it spinning? What particular actions does it prevent? What precise lies does it tell you? Now, here is where most warriors make a crucial mistake. They try to break the loop by fighting every thought within it. This is like trying to defeat an army by fighting every individual soldier. Exhausting, inefficient, tactically unsound. The superior warrior understands. You don't need to defeat every thought. You need to identify and break the pattern that connects them. Think of your mental loop as a chain. Each thought is a link. But the power of the chain isn't in its individual links. It's in the pattern that connects them. Break the pattern. and the chain falls apart. Here is how you break mental loops with strategic precision. First, identify the trigger point. Every loop has a beginning, a moment, a thought, a situation that initiates the cycle. This is not where you're weakest. This is where you must be most alert. The trigger is your first tactical advantage. Second, map the pattern. Mental loops follow predictable paths. Document yours. Thought A leads to emotion B. Emotion B triggers action. Action C reinforces thought A. This is not self-punishment. This is strategic mapping. Third, identify the fuel source. Every loop requires energy to keep spinning. What feeds yours? Fear, uncertainty, false beliefs. Identify the fuel, and you can starve the cycle. Fourth, create pattern interrupts. Don't try to stop thinking. Interrupt the pattern. When thought A appears, instead of letting it flow into emotion, B. Inject a new response. When emotion B rises, instead of triggering action C, introduce a new movement. Here are your tactical pattern interrupts. Physical pattern breaks. Change your body position immediately. Engage in sudden, decisive movement. Alter your breathing pattern sharply. Switch environments instantly. Mental pattern breaks. Inject an impossible question into the loop. Force your mind to calculate complex numbers. Recite a memorized text backward. Switch languages. Mid-thought strategic pattern breaks. Execute a pre-planned action sequence. Engage in immediate tactical analysis. Switch to strategic planning mode. Begin a specific training protocol. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate thinking. The goal is to break the loop that turns productive thought into paralytic cycling. This is why you must have your pattern breaks ready before you need them. A warrior doesn't forge their weapons during battle. Your pattern interrupts must be up, prepared, practiced, and ready for immediate deployment. Your mental loops are not your prison. They are your training ground. Your thought cycles are not your enemies. They are your tactical challenges. Your patterns are not your destiny. They are your opportunity for strategic mastery. Break them, not through endless battle, but through strategic intervention. Not through constant fighting, but through pattern interruption. Not through willpower alone, but through tactical precision. This is the art of mental warfare. This is how you break free from the death loop. This is how you convert what could trap you into what teaches you to be free. Remember, the warrior who fights their thoughts will battle forever. The warrior who breaks the pattern wins their freedom once. Which warrior will you be? Now feel that loop beginning. See that pattern emerging. Notice that cycle starting. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Don't exhaust yourself against it. Break it. With precision, with strategy, with tactical mastery. Your freedom awaits on the other side of the pattern. There is a poison that warriors have faced since ancient times. It creeps into their hearts during moments of peace. It infiltrates their minds when they observe their allies. It turns their own achievements to ash in their mouths. This poison is called envy. Most try to deny it. They push it down, ashamed to admit its existence. They see it as a weakness, a flaw, a sign of inferior character. They waste energy trying to eliminate it, suppress it, pretend it doesn't exist. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of strategic warfare. Envy is not your enemy. It is your mirror. It is not your weakness. It is your compass. It is not your shame. It is your signal. And in the hands of a superior warrior, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a map to your hidden power. Let me show you how to transform this ancient poison into modern medicine. First, you must understand what envy really is. Strip away the shame, and what do you find? Pure, unfiltered intelligence about what you truly value. Clear, precise information about what you deeply desire. Exact tactical data about where your potential lies dormant. Think about this carefully. When you feel envy, what exactly is happening? You are receiving intelligence about what capabilities you value most, what achievements resonate deeply with you, what potential you recognize in yourself, what power you have not yet claimed. This is not emotional weakness. This is tactical intelligence, gathering of the highest order. But most warriors waste this intelligence. They feel envy and immediately judge themselves for it. They experience this signal and instantly try to suppress it. They receive this tactical data and quickly try to deny it. The superior warrior thinks differently. When envy appears, they don't fight it. They study it. They don't suppress it. They analyze it. They don't deny it. They decode it. Because they understand a truth that most will never grasp. Envy points precisely to your next territory of conquest. Think of it this way. When a general observes a superior position held by the enemy, does he waste energy feeling ashamed of, wanting it? No. He studies it. He analyzes why it's valuable. He determines how to claim it. He converts his desire into strategy. This is how you must handle envy. When envy appears, treat it as incoming intelligence. Take out your war scroll and document it with military precision. Don't write, "I'm jealous of their success." Write, "They have developed capabilities I must acquire." Don't write, "I wish I had what they have." Write, "They have mapped a territory I must conquer." Here is how you convert envy into tactical advantage. First, analyze it precisely. Don't just acknowledge that you're envious. Identify exactly what triggers this response. What specific capability do they possess? What particular achievement have they unlocked? What exact position have they claimed? This precision is crucial. Vague envy is useless envy. Precise envy becomes precise intelligence. Second, decode its message. Envy always carries tactical information. What specific value does this trigger reveal? What particular potential does it highlight? What exact capability lies dormant within you? Remember, you cannot envy what you cannot become. Your envy is a mirror reflecting your unclaimed capabilities. Third, convert it into strategy. Envy without action is just emotional poison. Envy converted into strategic planning becomes operational intelligence. Take each piece of envy-based data and transform it into specific tactical objectives. Here is your strategic protocol. When you feel envy, immediately ask, what exact capability triggers this response? What specific skill must I develop? What particular territory must I claim? What precise action must I take? This converts emotional reaction into tactical direction. Fourth, deploy immediate action. Envy dies in movement. It transforms through action. The moment you begin moving with strategic purpose, envy converts from emotional weight into tactical momentum. But here is where you must be careful. Many warriors make the mistake of letting envy become their commander. They let it drive them into bitter competition, desperate imitation, or blind aggression. This is not the way of the superior warrior. Your envy is not your commander. It is your intelligence officer. It doesn't give orders. It provides information. It doesn't dictate strategy. It reveals opportunity. Use it this way. Let it show you what you value. Let it reveal what you're capable of. Let it highlight what you must develop. Let it indicate where you must focus. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have learned to use envy as a tactical tool. This is why the master strategists convert jealousy into intelligence. This is why the superior commanders transform competitive pain into strategic gain. They understand what you must now learn. Envy is not a sign of weakness. It is a signal of untapped strength. Jealousy is not a mark of inadequacy. It is a map to your next conquest. Competitive pain is not your punishment. It is your strategic intelligence. Use it. Decode it, convert it, turn your envy into energy, turn your jealousy into strategy, turn your competitive pain into tactical gain. This is the art of strategic transformation. This is how you use envy as a mirror. This is how you convert what could poison you into what empowers you. Remember, the warrior who denies their envy wastes its intelligence. The warrior who decodes their envy discovers their destiny. Which warrior will you be? Now feel that envy in your heart. Feel that competitive fire in your spirit. Feel that desire for greatness in your soul. Don't fight it. Don't suppress it. Don't waste it. Use it. This is your mirror. This is your map. This is your next mission. The territory of your potential awaits. Will you let envy poison you, or will you let it guide you to your next conquest? In ancient warfare, there was a strategy that proved more powerful than any weapon, more effective than any army. It was called the power of the unexpected, the art of turning what others perceive as weakness into your greatest tactical advantage. Today, I will teach you this forgotten art. Most warriors make a critical mistake. They try to appear strong at all times. They display their power openly. They showcase their capabilities proudly. They announce their intentions clearly. And in doing so, they lose the most powerful advantage in warfare, the element of surprise. The superior warrior thinks differently. They understand that what others perceive as your weakness can become your greatest disguise. Your apparent limitations can become your perfect camouflage. Your seeming disadvantages can become your hidden weapons. Think about this carefully. When your enemies see weakness, what do? They relax their guard. They reduce their vigilance. They lower their defenses. In their arrogance, they create the perfect opportunity for your strike. This is the art of tactical deception through genuine transformation. But let me be clear, I am not teaching you to fake weakness. I am teaching you to use your real limitations as strategic advantages. This is not about pretending. It is about positioning, not about deception, but about tactical transformation. Let me show you how this works. First, identify your perceived weaknesses with precision. Don't just acknowledge them vaguely. Map them exactly. What do others see as your limitations? What do they consider your disadvantages? What do they believe holds you back? Take out your war scroll and document these with military precision. Your perceived social awkwardness, your supposed lack of experience, your apparent sensitivity, your presumed limitations. Now, here is where the art of strategic transformation begins. For each perceived weakness, ask, how can this become my camouflage? How can this become my cover? How can this become my tactical advantage? Think of it this way. When a small army faces a larger force, does it showcase its numbers? No. It uses its size to move undetected. It converts its apparent weakness into tactical mobility. This is how you must handle your perceived limitations. Let me show you the strategic approach. First, understand the power of being underestimated. When others see weakness, they lower their defenses, reveal their strategies, expose their vulnerabilities, demonstrate their tactics. This is not their gift to you. This is their tactical error. Second, maintain tactical awareness. Don't let their underestimation affect your self-knowledge. You are not weak. You are strategically positioned. You are not limited. You are tactically disguised. Third, develop your hidden strengths. While others see your perceived weakness, quietly build your real power. When they see social awkwardness, develop deep observation skills. When they see lack of experience, accumulate hidden knowledge. When they see sensitivity, sharpen your emotional intelligence. When they see limitation, expand your actual capabilities. Fourth, master the art of strategic revelation. The superior warrior knows not only how to use weakness as disguise, but also when to reveal true strength. Here is your tactical protocol. When others perceive weakness, immediately accept their perception without correction. Analyze what advantages their assumption gives you. Identify what intelligence their relaxed guard reveals. Determine how to convert this position into tactical advantage. Remember, the moment they believe you weak is the moment they become vulnerable to your strength. But here is where most warriors fail. They become impatient. They want to prove their strength immediately. They rush to correct others' perceptions. In doing so, they lose their greatest tactical advantage. The superior warrior maintains strategic patience. They understand that being underestimated is not an insult. It is an opportunity, not a disadvantage, but a position of power. Think of the bamboo that appears weak yet survives the storm that breaks the mighty oak. Think of the water that appears soft yet carves through solid rock. Think of the reed that appears fragile yet bends while stronger plants snap. This is your model for tactical transformation. Let them see the bamboo while you develop the resilience. Let them see the water while you develop the persistence. Let them see the reed while you develop the adaptability. This is why the greatest warriors in history often appeared unimpressive at first glance. This is why the master strategists rarely displayed their full capabilities. This is why the superior commanders often seemed unremarkable until the moment of victory. They understood what you must now learn. Your perceived weakness is not your limitation. It is your tactical advantage. Your apparent disadvantage is not. Your obstacle, it is your opportunity. Your seeming inadequacy is not your truth. It is your strategic position. Use it, master it, transform it. Turn your perceived weakness into strategic advantage. Turn your apparent limitations into tactical opportunities. Turn your seeming disadvantages into unexpected victories. This is the art of strategic transformation. This is how you exploit the element of surprise. This is how you convert what others underestimate into what makes you unstoppable. Remember, the warrior who displays all their strength has already lost their greatest advantage. The warrior who masters the art of tactical positioning never reveals their full power until the moment of victory. Which warrior will you be? Now, feel their underestimation. Feel their lowered guard. Feel their relaxed defenses. Don't resist it. Don't correct it. Don't waste it. Use it. This is your camouflage. This is your cover. This is your tactical advantage. Victory awaits those who master the art of the unexpected. In ancient warfare, there was a principle that determined the outcome of battles before a single sword was drawn. It was called controlling the frame, the art of defining the battlefield itself. The general who chose where and how the battle would be fought had already secured half the victory. Today, we will apply this ancient wisdom to the battles you face in your mind. Most warriors make a fundamental mistake. They accept the frame that their challenges present. They fight their battles on territory chosen by their fears, their doubts, their perceived limitations. They let their weaknesses define the battlefield. This is the path to defeat. The superior warrior understands a deeper truth. The frame is not fixed. The battlefield is not set. The context is not given. Everything, every challenge, every obstacle, every seeming limitation can be reframed, and he who controls the frame controls the outcome. Let me show you how to master this art of strategic reframing. First, understand this crucial truth. Every situation has multiple frames. Every challenge has multiple contexts. Every problem has multiple perspectives. The frame you choose or accept determines not just how you see the battle, but how you fight it. Think of it this way. A mountain can be an obstacle blocking your path, a vantage point for superior vision, a fortress for defensive position, a challenge that proves your worth, a filter that eliminates the weak. The mountain hasn't changed. But each frame changes how you engage with it. This is not positive thinking. This is not mindset manipulation. This is strategic positioning of the highest order. Consider this. When a general surveys a battlefield, does he accept the first perspective he sees? No, he moves. He studies angles. He considers positions. He seeks the frame that gives him tactical advantage. This is how you must handle every challenge you face. Let me show you the strategic approach to controlling the frame. First, recognize the current frame. What perspective are you accepting by default? What context are you fighting within? What boundaries are you allowing to limit your movement? Take out your war scroll and document the frame with military precision. What specific perspective are you currently holding? What particular limitations does this frame impose? What exact assumptions does this frame contain? What strategic options does this frame eliminate? Now, here is where the art of frame control begins. For each situation, you must identify multiple alternative frames, analyze the tactical advantages of each, choose the frame that gives you strategic superiority, maintain control of this chosen perspective. But here is where most warriors fail. They try to force positive frames onto negative situations. They attempt to deny reality rather than strategically reframe it. This is not frame control. This is frame delusion. The superior warrior thinks differently. They don't deny reality, they redefine its meaning. They don't ignore challenges, they reframe their significance. They don't pretend limitations don't exist, they change what those limitations mean. Here is your strategic protocol for frame control. First, identify your current frame. What story are you telling about this situation? What meaning are you assigning to this challenge? What implications are you accepting about your capabilities? Second, generate alternative frames. How else could this situation be interpreted? What other meanings could this challenge hold? What different implications could these circumstances suggest? Third, analyze tactical advantages. For each potential frame, ask, what capabilities does this perspective unlock? What strategies does this view enable? What opportunities does this frame reveal? What movements does this context allow? Fourth, establish frame control. Choose the frame that gives you maximum tactical advantage. Reinforce this frame through strategic action. Maintain this perspective through disciplined focus. Defend this frame against external and internal challenges. Remember, the frame you accept determines the battles you fight. Change the frame and you change the entire engagement. Here are your tactical frame shifts. For obstacles, from this blocks my path to this shows me where I must grow, from this limits me to this trains me, from this stops me to this directs me. For failures, from this defeats me to this informs me, from this ends me to this teaches me, from this breaks me to this builds me. For limitations, from this is my weakness to this is my specialty, from this is my disadvantage to this is my distinction, from this is my prison to this is my practice ground. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have been masters of frame control. This is why the superior strategists could turn any terrain to their advantage. This is why the commanders could find victory in any circumstance. They understood what you must now learn. The frame is not fixed. It is fluid. The context is not given. It is chosen. The meaning is not inherent. It is assigned. Your frame is not your fate. It is your tactical choice. Your perspective is not your prison. It is your strategic position. Your context is not your constraint. It is your chosen battlefield. Control it. Master it. Defend it. Turn your frame into your fortress. Turn your perspective into your power. Turn your context into your conquest. This is the art of strategic framing. This is how you control the battlefield of meaning. This is how you convert what could limit you into what empowers you. Remember, the warrior who accepts the given frame fights an uphill battle. The warrior who controls the frame chooses their own terrain. Which warrior will you be? Now notice the frame you're holding. See the perspective you're accepting. Feel the context you're allowing. Don't fight within it. Don't accept it. Don't surrender to it. Control it. This is your choice. This is your power. This is your strategic advantage. The battlefield of meaning awaits your command. There is a paradox in warfare that most warriors never grasp, a truth so powerful it can determine the outcome of any battle before it begins. It is this: true invincibility lies not in the absence of weakness, but in the presence of humility. Most warriors make a fatal error. They try to appear invulnerable. They build walls of arrogance. They wear masks of certainty. They create facades of invincibility. And in doing so, they construct the very weakness that will lead to their defeat. The superior warrior understands a deeper truth. Humility is not weakness. It is tactical superiority. It is not submission. It is strategic advantage. It is not a flaw. It is a fortress that cannot be breached. Let me show you why. First, understand this fundamental principle. The warrior who thinks they have nothing to learn has already been defeated. The fighter who believes they have no weaknesses is blind to their own vulnerabilities. The commander who assumes they cannot fail has already begun their descent into failure. Think about this carefully. What happens when you believe you are invincible? You stop studying your weaknesses. You cease examining your vulnerabilities. You ignore potential threats. You dismiss crucial intelligence. You become blind to your own limitations. This is not confidence. This is tactical suicide. Consider the bamboo and the oak. When the storm comes, which survives? The oak stands proud and rigid, believing in its strength until it breaks. The bamboo bows in humble acknowledgement of the wind's power and thus remains unbroken. This is not a lesson in weakness. This is a lesson in tactical superiority through strategic humility. Let me show you the path to true invincibility. First, embrace the power of not knowing. When you face a situation, immediately ask, what don't I know about this challenge? What could I be missing? What must I still learn? What might I be overlooking? This is not self-doubt. This is tactical intelligence gathering. Second, maintain strategic openness. Every situation, every opponent, every challenge carries intelligence that can make you stronger. But you can only receive this intelligence if you remain humble enough to learn. Take out your war scroll and document this with military precision. What specific lessons have your recent challenges taught you? What particular insights have your failures revealed? What exact wisdom have your obstacles offered? What precise intelligence have your setbacks provided? But here is where most warriors fail. They mistake humility for weakness. They believe that acknowledging their limitations makes them vulnerable. They think that admitting their gaps in knowledge makes them appear inferior. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of strategic warfare. True humility is not about being weak. It is about being wise enough to know that there is always more to learn. It is not about being inferior. It is about being intelligent enough to know that every situation contains hidden lessons. Think of it this way. When a general serves a battlefield, which is more powerful, the arrogant assumption that victory is certain, or the humble acknowledgement that every battle contains unknown factors? The answer is clear to those who understand true warfare. Here is your strategic protocol for cultivating invincible humility. First, practice tactical openness. Before every engagement, acknowledge what you don't know. Before every decision, recognize what you might be missing. Before every action, accept what you still must learn. Second, maintain strategic awareness. Monitor your assumptions regularly. Question your certainties consistently. Examine your blind spots systematically. Test your knowledge continuously. Third, embrace the power of being wrong. When you make a mistake, analyze it without ego. When you fail, study it without shame. When you're corrected, learn from it without resistance. When you're challenged, examine it without defensiveness. Fourth, cultivate invincible learning. Convert every defeat into intelligence. Transform every setback into strategy. Turn every failure into tactical advantage. Make every mistake into military wisdom. Remember, the truly invincible warrior is not the one who cannot be defeated. It is the one who cannot be stopped from learning and growing stronger. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have been known for their humility. This is why the master strategists consistently acknowledged their limitations. This is why the superior commanders remained students until their final battle. They understood what you must now learn. Ego seeks glory. Wisdom seeks results. Pride seeks recognition. Strategy seeks victory. Arrogance seeks validation. Humility seeks improvement. Your ego is not your ally. It is your obstacle. Your pride is not your power. It is your weakness. Your arrogance is not your armor. It is your vulnerability. Let them fall away. Let them dissolve. Let them transform into something far more powerful. Strategic humility. This is the art of invincible warfare. This is how you convert what seems like weakness into unshakable strength. This is how you transform what appears to be vulnerability into tactical superiority. Remember, the warrior who claims to know everything learns nothing. The warrior who remains humble learns constantly and thus becomes truly invincible. Which warrior will you be? Now feel that urge to appear strong. Feel that desire to seem invincible. Feel that need to look unbeatable. Don't feed it. Don't embrace it. Don't let it command you. Transform it. This is your opportunity for true power. This is your path to genuine strength. This is your route to actual invincibility. The way of humble victory awaits. In ancient warfare, there was a force that conquered more territories than any army, survived more battles than any warrior, and achieved more victories than any general. This force was not strength, speed, or numbers. It was adaptation, the art of flowing like water. Most warriors make a critical mistake. They try to be rocks. They build rigid strengths. They develop unchanging strategies. They create fixed identities. And in doing so, they ensure their own defeat. For in the ever-changing landscape of battle, the rigid break while the fluid prevail. Let me show you the way of water, the path of unstoppable adaptation. First, understand this fundamental truth. Water has no constant shape, yet it cannot be defeated. It has no fixed form, yet it cannot be destroyed. It has no rigid structure, yet it outlasts everything it touches. This is not weakness. This is ultimate power. Think about this carefully. What happens when water meets an obstacle? If blocked, it flows around. If trapped, it adapts its shape. If pressured, it finds new paths. If dropped, it reforms instantly. If scattered, it reunites naturally. This is not mere philosophy. This is strategic genius of the highest order. Consider, when water meets a rock, what happens? The rock stands rigid, proud of its strength, until water's patient adaptation carves right through it. When water meets a wall, what occurs? The wall stands firm, confident in its power, until water's constant flexibility finds a way past it. This is your model for unstoppable adaptation. Let me show you how to embody this strategic fluidity. First, understand the power of formlessness. Having no fixed shape means you cannot be grasped. Having no rigid structure means you cannot be broken. Having no constant form means you cannot be predicted. Having no permanent state means you cannot be defeated. Take out your war scroll and document this with military precision. What fixed strategies are limiting your movement? What rigid identities are restricting your adaptation? What unchanging methods are preventing your growth? What constant forms are blocking your flow? Now, here is where the art of strategic adaptation begins. For each fixed position you identify, ask, how can this become fluid? How can this become flexible? How can this become adaptable? How can this become flowing? But here is where most warriors fail. They try to plan their adaptations in advance. They attempt to create rigid systems for being fluid. They seek to control their flexibility. This is like trying to hold water in your fist. The tighter you grip, the more it escapes. The superior warrior thinks differently. They understand that true adaptation happens in the moment, not in the plan. They know that real flexibility comes from present awareness, not future preparation. Here is your strategic protocol for becoming like water. First, develop fluid awareness. Notice when you become rigid. Observe when you resist change. Recognize when you hold fixed positions. Identify when you cling to unchanging forms. Second, practice immediate adaptation. When blocked, flow around immediately. When trapped, reshape instantly. When pressured, find new paths naturally. When scattered, reform. Automatically third, master strategic fluidity. Convert every obstacle into a new direction. Transform every barrier into a new pathway. Turn every resistance into a new movement. Make every blockage into a new opportunity. Fourth, embody water-like response. When facing challenges, ask, how would water handle this? Where would water flow? How would water adapt? What path would water find? Remember, the truly adaptable warrior is not the one who has many strategies. It is the one who becomes what each moment requires. This is why water has been used as a model for warfare throughout history. This is why fluid adaptation has conquered more than rigid strength. This is why flexible response has survived while fixed positions have crumbled. Consider these tactical applications. In conflict, don't meet force with force. Flow around it. Don't resist pressure. Redirect it. Don't fight blockages. Find new paths. Don't hold rigid positions. Adapt constantly. In challenge, don't break against obstacles. Reshape around them. Don't stand firm against change. Flow with it. Don't maintain. Fixed forms become formless. Don't resist transformation. Embrace it in development. Don't stick to one method. Flow between many. Don't hold one identity. Adapt as needed. Don't maintain one strategy. Shift naturally. Don't keep one shape. Become shapeless. This is the art of unstoppable adaptation. This is how you convert what seems like weakness into unconquerable strength. This is how you transform your very nature into tactical advantage. Your rigidity is not your power, it is your limitation. Your fixed position is not your strength, it is your vulnerability. Your unchanging form is not your identity, it is your prison. Let them dissolve, let them flow, let them transform. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have been masters of adaptation. This is why the superior strategists could flow like water through any battlefield. This is why the master commanders could reshape their forces to meet any challenge. They understood what you must now learn. The rigid warrior breaks under pressure. The fluid warrior flows through obstacles. The adaptable warrior becomes unstoppable. Remember, water is not powerful because it is strong. It is powerful because it adapts. It is not unstoppable because it is rigid. It is unstoppable because it flows. It is not invincible because it resists. It is invincible because it yields to win. Which warrior will you be? Now feel your rigid positions. Feel your fixed strategies. Feel your unchanging forms. Don't cling to them. Don't defend them. Don't let them trap you. Let them flow. This is your path to power. This is your route to victory. This is your way to becoming unstoppable. The way of water awaits. In ancient warfare, there was a weapon more powerful than any sword, more precise than any arrow, more influential than any army. It was the inner voice of the warrior, the silent dialogue that commands the body, directs the spirit, and determines the outcome of every battle before it begins. Today, you will learn to master this ultimate weapon, your internal dialogue. Most warriors never grasp this crucial truth. The words you speak inside your mind are not mere thoughts, they are orders. To your nervous system, they are not simple reflections, they are direct commands. They are not passive observations, they are active instructions that your body and spirit must follow. Think about this carefully. Every time you speak to yourself, you are literally programming your internal army. Your cells, your muscles, your nerves, they all stand ready to execute whatever orders your inner voice delivers. But most warriors leave this weapon unmastered. They let their inner voice run wild with undisciplined chatter, wasteful self-doubt, destructive criticism, paralyzing fear talk, weakening self-commentary. This is like having an army where every soldier shouts different orders. Chaos, confusion, defeat. The superior warrior understands that the inner voice must be trained with the same discipline as any other weapon. It must be sharpened, focused, and wielded with strategic precision. Let me show you how to master your internal command system. First, understand the 3 levels of inner dialogue: surface chatter, the constant commentary, the reactive responses. The emotional noise. This is like having untrained recruits shouting random orders. Tactical talk, the strategic planning, the performance instructions, the immediate commands, This is like having sergeants directing specific operations. Command voice, the core identity statements. The fundamental beliefs, the essential truths. This is like having the general issuing primary directives. Take out your war scroll and document your current inner dialogue with military precision. What exact words do you use in moments of challenge? What specific phrases repeat in times of stress? What particular statements emerge during difficulty? What precise commands do you give yourself daily? Now, here is where the art of internal mastery begins. For each level of dialogue, you must identify current patterns, analyze their tactical impact, design superior commands, install new response protocols, but here is where most warriors fail. They try to eliminate negative self-talk through force. They attempt to suppress unhelpful thoughts through willpower. They seek to silence the inner critic through combat. This is like trying to command an army by shouting, "Don't retreat." Instead of giving clear orders for advance, the superior warrior thinks differently. They understand that the inner voice must be trained, not suppressed, directed, not silenced, commanded, not controlled. Here is your strategic protocol for mastering internal dialogue. First, establish command presence. Before any engagement, set your command voice. I am the commander of this mind. I choose the orders given here. I direct the flow of these thoughts. I control this internal territory. Second, install tactical responses. For each common challenge, create specific command phrases. Instead of, "I'm nervous," "I am gathering my power." Instead of, "I can't do this," "I am solving this strategically." Instead of, "This is too hard," "I am mastering this challenge." Instead of, "I might fail," "I am collecting tactical data." Third, develop strategic language patterns. Create precise commands for key situations. For preparation, systems check. Equipment ready, mission proceeding. For challenge, tactical assessment, strategy forming, advance continuing. For recovery, data collected, lessons integrated, power increasing. For victory, objective achieved, intelligence gathered, strength confirmed. Fourth, maintain command discipline. Monitor and adjust your internal communications. Check for unauthorized negative chatter. Correct undisciplined emotional noise. Adjust ineffective tactical commands. Reinforce successful strategic language. Remember, every word you speak internally is a direct order to your nervous system. Every phrase you repeat mentally is a command to your cellular army. Every statement you tell yourself is a directive to your spiritual forces. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have been masters of their inner dialogue. This is why the superior strategists maintained impeccable internal communication. This is why the master commanders controlled their mental territory with precision. They understood what you must now learn. Your inner voice is not your companion. It is your command center. Your self-talk is not your reflection. It is your tactical communication system. Your internal dialogue is not your thoughts. It is your strategic directive channel. Master it. Command it. Deploy it. Turn your inner voice into your ultimate weapon. Turn your self-talk into your tactical advantage. Turn your internal dialogue into your strategic power. This is the art of internal warfare. This is how you convert what could weaken you into what makes you unstoppable. This is how you transform your very thoughts into victory commands. Remember, the warrior whose inner voice is undisciplined fights two battles, one against the enemy and one against themselves. The warrior whose inner voice is mastered commands their entire force in unified action. Which warrior will you be? Now listen to your inner dialogue. Hear your self-talk. Notice your mental commands. Don't fight them. Don't suppress them. Don't let them run wild. Command them. This is your ultimate weapon. This is your path to victory. This is your route to unstoppable power. The battle for internal command awaits. In ancient warfare, there was a truth that separated the victorious from the defeated, the survivors from the fallen, the masters from the amateurs. It was this: Greatness is not born in moments of inspiration. It is built through rituals of power. Most warriors make a fundamental mistake. They wait for motivation. They depend on mood. They rely on spontaneous surges of energy. And in doing so, they ensure their own defeat. For in the real battles of life, motivation is as unreliable as weather, and mood is as changeable as wind. The superior warrior builds rituals instead. Think about this carefully. Every great army in history was built not through sporadic training, but through daily discipline. Every legendary warrior was forged not through occasional effort, but through consistent practice. Every master commander emerged not through random action, but through systematic development. This is the power of ritual, the art of turning intention into inevitability through structured practice. Let me show you how to build your own rituals of power. First, understand the 3 levels of ritual development: physical rituals, morning activation protocols, combat readiness practices, energy management systems, recovery and regeneration sequences, mental rituals, strategic thinking procedures, tactical analysis protocols, decision-making frameworks, intelligence-gathering practices, spiritual rituals, power accumulation practices, internal alignment protocols, energy cultivation systems, force multiplication sequences. Take out your war scroll and document your current rituals with military precision. What exact practices do you perform daily? What specific sequences do you follow regularly? What particular protocols have you established? What precise systems do you maintain? Now, here's where the art of ritual mastery begins. For each level you must design precise protocols, establish exact timing, create specific standards, maintain strict accountability. But here is where most warriors fail. They create rituals that are too complex, too demanding, too ambitious. They try to transform everything at once. They attempt to rebuild their entire system in a day. This is like trying to train an army to master all weapons simultaneously. It leads to confusion, overwhelm, and abandonment of the practice. The superior warrior thinks differently. They understand that powerful rituals start small, but build inexorably. They begin with fundamental practices that, when mastered, create the foundation for more advanced protocols. Here is your strategic approach to ritual building. First, establish your morning command ritual. Wake at the same time daily. This is non-negotiable. Perform physical activation sequence, execute mental clarity protocol. Complete spiritual alignment practice, your morning protocol, 0500-0515. Physical activation, stand at attention, deep breathing sequence, 7 counts. Full body tension and release strategic movement patterns, 515ers, 0530. Mental clarity, tactical day planning, priority mission identification, resource allocation review, strategic intention setting, R545, spiritual alignment, internal power gathering, force multiplication practice, energy field expansion, command presence activation. Second, create your battle preparation ritual. Before any significant challenge, physical readiness check, mental strategy review, spiritual power activation, tactical protocol confirmation. Third, develop your recovery ritual. After each engagement, physical reset sequence, mental debrief protocol, spiritual energy renewal, strategic learning extraction. Fourth, establish your evening power ritual, day's mission, debrief intelligence gathering, review energy restoration protocol, next day tactical preparation. Remember, these rituals must be simple enough to execute when tired, clear enough to follow under, stress brief enough to maintain daily, powerful enough to create change. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have been masters of ritual. This is why the superior strategists maintained strict daily practices. This is why the master commanders followed exact protocols. They understood what you must now learn. Motivation is temporary, ritual is permanent, mood is unreliable, structure is dependable. Inspiration is sporadic. Discipline is unstoppable. Your rituals are not your limitations. They are your liberation. Your protocols are not your prison. They are your path to power. Your practices are not your burden. They are your bridge to greatness. Build them, master them, maintain them, turn your intentions into inevitabilities through ritual. Turn your aspirations into achievements through protocol. Turn your potential into power through practice. Specific protocol. Examples: morning power. Ritual: stand at attention, feet shoulder-width apart. 7 deep breaths, each held for 7 counts. Full body tension for 7 counts, then release. 7. Precise movements in each direction. 7 power statements spoken with command. 7 strategic intentions set for the day. 7 gratitude acknowledgments. Pre-battle ritual. 3 power breaths. Physical readiness sequence. Mental clarity protocol. Strategic objective review. Tactical advantage identification. Power stance activation. Command presence establishment. Recovery. Ritual. Physical reset breathing. Tension release sequence. Energy field clearing. Learning extraction. Protocol. Strategic adjustment identification. Power restoration practice. Next mission preparation. Remember, the warrior who depends on motivation fights only when inspired. The warrior who builds rituals becomes unstoppable through practice. Which warrior will you be? Now look at your current patterns. Notice your random actions. Observe your sporadic efforts. Don't judge them. Don't dismiss them. Don't accept them. Transform them. This is your path to power. This is your route to mastery. This is your way to becoming unstoppable. The power of ritual awaits. In ancient warfare, there was a practice that distinguished the greatest generals from the merely good ones. When they lost a battle, they did not retreat in shame or advance in rage. Instead, they did something unprecedented. They studied their defeat as if it were a live drill. Today, you will learn this lost art, the strategic science of intelligent failure. Most warriors make a critical mistake. They see failure as an endpoint. They treat defeat as a judgment. They view loss as a statement about their worth. And in doing so, they waste the most valuable tactical intelligence they could ever receive. The superior warrior thinks differently. Think about this carefully. Every failure is literally a live fire training exercise. Every defeat is a full-scale simulation. Every setback is a tactical intelligence gathering operation, paid for with real resources, generating real data, offering real strategic insights. This is not motivation. This is not positive thinking. This is military science of the highest order. Let me show you how to convert your failures into tactical advantages. First, understand the 3 levels of failure intelligence. Surface data. Immediate causes visible. Factors. Observable patterns. This is like examining the battlefield after a loss. Strategic intelligence. Underlying weaknesses, tactical gaps, system vulnerabilities. This is like analyzing your army's performance. Core insights. Fundamental principles, essential truths, critical learnings. This is like extracting warfare wisdom. Take out your war scroll and document your latest defeat with military precision. What exactly happened? What specific factors contributed? What particular patterns emerged? What precise lessons were offered? Now, here is where the art of intelligent failure begins. For each defeat, you must gather complete intelligence, analyze tactical patterns, extract strategic lessons, implement systemic improvements, but here is where most warriors fail again. They try to learn without truly studying. They attempt to improve without deeply analyzing. They seek to advance without thoroughly understanding. This is like trying to win a war without reading your intelligence reports. The superior warrior approaches failure like a military scientist. They treat each defeat as a laboratory for learning, each setback as a simulation for study, each loss as a lesson in warfare. Here is your strategic protocol for intelligent failure. First, immediate tactical analysis. Within 24 hours of any defeat, document exact sequence of events. specific decision points, particular action patterns, precise outcome details, your analysis protocol, event documentation, what happened, pure facts, no interpretation, when did it happen, exact timeline, where did it occur, specific context, how did it unfold, precise sequence, decision analysis, what choices were made, what alternatives existed, what information was available, what factors influenced decisions, pattern recognition, what similar situations occurred before, what recurring elements appeared, what consistent factors emerged, what regular sequences manifested. Second, strategic intelligence extraction. Within 72 hours, analyze. Tactical vulnerabilities. Exposed strategic weaknesses, revealed system gaps, identified performance patterns highlighted. Third, core wisdom integration. Within 7 days, determine. Fundamental principles demonstrated, essential truths revealed, critical insights gained, vital lessons learned. Fourth, systematic improvement implementation. Within 14 days, establish specific tactical adjustments, particular strategic changes, exact protocol modifications, precise system improvements. Remember, these analyses must be emotionless, pure tactical. Assessment, detailed, specific, and precise. Action-oriented, leading to concrete changes, forward-focused, aimed at future victory. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history studied their defeats more carefully than their victories. This is why the superior strategists analyzed their failures more thoroughly than their successes. This is why the master commanders learned more from their losses than their wins. They understood what you must now learn. Failure is not your enemy, it is your instructor. Defeat is not your judge, it is your trainer. Loss is not your punishment, it is your practice ground. Your failures are not your identity, they are your intelligence reports. Your defeats are not your destiny, they are your data points. Your setbacks are not your story, they are your strategic feedback. Study them, analyze them, learn from them. Turn your failures into intelligence. Turn your defeats into data. Turn your setbacks into strategy. This is the art of intelligent failure. This is how you convert what could destroy you into what develops you. This is how you transform what could end you into what evolves you. Specific analysis. Examples. Tactical. Failure analysis, event sequence. What was the objective? What was the plan? What actually happened? Where did divergence occur? Decision points. What choices were available? What information was missing? What assumptions were made? What alternatives existed? Pattern recognition. What similar failures occurred before? What common elements appeared? What recurring weaknesses emerged? What consistent gaps manifested? Remember, the warrior who sees failure as final fights each battle as if it were their last. The warrior who studies failure fights each battle with the wisdom of all previous defeats. Which warrior will you be? Now, look at your recent defeat. See your latest failure. Observe your current setback. Don't hide from it. Don't rage against it. Don't accept it blindly. Study it. This is your tactical advantage. This is your strategic intelligence. This is your path to victory. The science of intelligent failure awaits. In ancient warfare, there was a power that conquered more territories than any sword, won more battles than any army, and achieved more victories than any strategy. This power was silence, the art of strategic stillness. Most warriors never grasp this profound truth. Noise is weakness. Movement without purpose is vulnerability. Action without stillness is chaos. The warrior who cannot find silence within themselves has already lost the most crucial battle. Think about this carefully. In nature, what are the most powerful forces? The silent ones. Gravity moves planets without a sound. Magnetism shifts continents without noise. Time transforms everything without speaking a word. This is not philosophy. This is strategic wisdom of the highest order. Let me show you the power that lies in silence. First, understand the 3 levels of strategic stillness. Physical silence. The body at rest. The movements contained. The energy conserved. This is like an army in perfect position. Mental silence, the thoughts controlled, the mind focused, the attention directed. This is like a general in perfect clarity. Spiritual silence, the power gathered, the force accumulated, the strength collected. This is like a warrior in perfect readiness. Take out your war scroll and document your current relationship with silence. When do you seek stillness? Where do you find quiet? How do you maintain silence? What disrupts your peace? But here is where most warriors fail. They mistake stillness for inaction. They confuse silence with weakness. They interpret quiet as passive. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of strategic warfare. The superior warrior knows that silence is not the absence of power, it is the presence of control. It is not the lack of action, it is the mastery of timing. It is not the surrender of strength, it is the accumulation of force. Think of it this way. When a tiger hunts, what is its most powerful moment? The silent pause before the strike. When an arrow flies, what determines its accuracy? The quiet focus before the release. When a strategy succeeds, what ensures its victory? The still calculation before the action. This is the power of strategic silence. Let me show you how to master this ancient art. First, establish physical stillness. Stand like a mountain, breathe like the tide, move like shadow rest, like stone yore. Stillness protocol, position of power, feet rooted to ground, spine aligned with gravity, shoulders settled with dignity, head balanced with pride, breath of silence. Inhale without sound, hold without tension, exhale without noise, rest without restlessness. Movement of shadow, step without echo, turn without turbulence, strike without warning, withdraw without trace. Second, cultivate mental quiet before any significant action. Clear the mind of chatter. Focus the thoughts on purpose. Direct the attention to power. Maintain the silence of strategy. Third, develop spiritual stillness. In moments of challenge, gather your force in silence. Accumulate your power in quiet. Collect your strength in stillness. Prepare your strike in peace. Fourth, master strategic silence. In every engagement, speak less than necessary. Move only when required. Act solely with purpose. Strike purely from stillness, remember. These practices must be regular, daily cultivation, deep, beyond surface quiet, strategic, purposeful silence, powerful, force-gathering stillness. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history have been masters of silence. This is why the superior strategists maintained perfect quiet. This is why the master commanders achieved stillness in chaos. They understood what you must now learn. Noise disperses power, silence concentrates it, movement wastes energy, stillness accumulates it, chaos scatters force, quiet gathers it. Your silence is not your weakness, it is your weapon. Your stillness is not your vulnerability, it is your power. Your quiet is not your limitation, it is your strength. Master it, cultivate it, maintain it. Turn your silence into strategy. Turn your stillness into strength. Turn your quiet into power. Specific silence protocols. Morning, stillness. Practice. Find your power position. Establish physical silence. Cultivate mental quiet. Gather spiritual force. Maintain strategic stillness. Accumulate internal power. Prepare for purposeful action. Pre-battle silence. Clear external noise. Quiet internal chatter. Focus tactical awareness. Gather strategic force. Accumulate striking power. Maintain perfect stillness. Wait for precise moment. Combat. Quiet. Move without sound. Strike from silence. Withdraw in quiet. Reset in stillness. Gather in peace. Hold in power. Release with purpose. Remember, the warrior who cannot find silence within themselves will never hear the subtle signals of victory. The warrior who masters strategic stillness hears everything, including the sound of opportunity. Which warrior will you be? Now, feel the noise around you. Notice the chaos within you. Observe the turbulence of your mind. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Don't add to it. Still it. This is your path to power. This is your route to victory. This is your way to unstoppable force. The power of silence awaits. In ancient warfare, there was a moment that every great warrior faced, a moment when they realized that all their training, all their struggles, all their perceived weaknesses had been leading to one truth. They themselves were the weapon they had been forging all along. Today, you will understand this ultimate revelation. Look back at the path you have walked. Every challenge you faced was not an obstacle. It was a forging fire. Every defeat you suffered was not a failure. It was a hammering blow. Every weakness you carried was not a flaw. It was raw material, waiting to be transformed. You were never broken. You were building. Think about this carefully. What is a weapon? It is not merely an object of force. It is concentrated purpose, refined intention, focused power. And this is exactly what you have been becoming through every trial, every setback, every moment of doubt. Let me show you the truth of your transformation. First, understand the 3 levels of weaponization. Physical weaponry, your body transformed. Through challenge, your presence, forged through adversity, your movement, refined through resistance. This is the weapon you can see. Mental weaponry, your mind, sharpened through struggle. Your focus, tempered through difficulty. Your strategy, honed through defeat. This is the weapon you can think with. Spiritual weaponry, your will, strengthened through trial. Your purpose, clarified through pain. Your power, amplified through resistance. This is the weapon you have become. Take out your war scroll one final time and document your transformation. What challenges have forged you? What defeats have shaped you? What resistance has strengthened you? What adversity has refined you? Now, here is where everything comes together. Every principle you have learned, every strategy you have mastered, every truth you have embraced, they were all part of one greater process, the forging of you into your own ultimate weapon. Consider what you have gained. From weakness, you learned strategic awareness, tactical advantage, hidden power. These were not limitations, they were specifications. From failure, you gained battle intelligence, combat wisdom, strategic insight. These were not defeats, they were refinements. From resistance, you developed unstoppable force, unbreakable form, unconquerable spirit. These were not obstacles, they were tempering. But here is the ultimate truth. A weapon is only as powerful as its wielder's understanding of it. You must now fully grasp what you have become. You are not just a warrior carrying weapons. You are the weapon itself. Your mind is your blade. Your will is your armor. Your spirit is your force. Your purpose is your power. This is not metaphor. This is strategic reality. Let me show you how to fully embody this truth. First, understand your specifications. What unique capabilities have you developed? What particular strengths have you forged? What special powers have you gained? What distinct advantages have you earned? Second, master your deployment. When are you most effective? Where are you most powerful? How are you best utilized? What activates your full force? Third, maintain your edge. What challenges sharpen you? What practice hones you? What training refines you? What battles strengthen you? Fourth, amplify your impact. How do you maximize your force? Where do you focus your power? When do you release your strength? Why do you deploy your capability? Remember, these realizations must be clear, precise understanding, complete, full recognition, practical, tactically applicable, powerful, strategically effective. This is why the greatest warriors throughout history came to this same realization. This is why the superior strategists understood this ultimate truth. This is why the master commanders embodied this final wisdom. They grasped what you must now fully comprehend. You are not broken. You are battle-forged. You are not damaged. You are developed. You are not wounded. You are weaponized. Your struggles were not your destruction. They were your construction. Your challenges were not your defeat, they were your development. Your resistance was not your enemy, it was your engineer. Everything you thought was breaking you was actually building you. Every force you thought was destroying you was actually developing you. Every fire you thought would end you was actually forging you. Specific deployment protocols. Self-weapon. Activation. Stand in your power. Gather your force. Focus your purpose. Align your elements. Charge your spirit. Heighten your awareness. Deploy your full capability. Combat configuration. Assess the battlefield. Position for advantage. Align your forces. Gather your power. Focus your intention. Time your deployment. Execute. With precision strategic application. Identify the objective. Calculate the approach position for impact. Accumulate force. Maintain focus. Time the release. Deliver with power. Remember, the warrior who sees themselves as broken will always fight at half strength. The warrior who understands they are the weapon fights with the full force of their being. Which warrior will you be? Now, look at yourself with new eyes. See your true nature. Recognize your real power. Don't doubt it. Don't deny it. Don't diminish it. Embody it. This is your truth. This is your power. This is your destiny. You are the weapon you have been forging all along. The time for training is over. The moment for deployment has come. You were never broken. You were building. Now, rise. Ultimate weapon. Your battlefield awaits.